Welcome to Conversations with K and J. We're your hosts, Kayla and Janae.
In here, we talk about love, life,
and lessons learned. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Daily Doses of Conversations with Kayla
and Janae.
In today's energy, we are looking at speaking your truth. Even if no one is listening, speak your truth. If one person listens, you've made a difference. In choosing not to speak, we put ourselves in a self-contained prison and we cause our own suffering. Speak your truth. Don't trap yourself in a cage. Take the risk of being rejected, challenged, or silenced, knowing that at least you spoke your truth. What you think?
I think it's just telling you to speak up. Say what you need to say to release any pressure that may be on you.
Yeah.
I think it's about like we do keep ourselves caged in with not wanting to pass the ball to somebody else to feel what you're feeling. You get what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, or you're just unsure within yourself of what you're feeling is what it really is.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why this came out with the Seven of Cups, because this is about how a lot of people, like the card said, keeps themselves in a self-contained prison by believing this is only happening to them, or this is their only reality, or they should only be looking at it one way. And that causes confusion, which is the Seven of Cups. It causes illusions. And if we're speaking about trauma or abuse or things that just really make you feel stuck in life, you never really know how much other people can like resonate with that energy and help you find solutions to work your way into a better place. This morning I got on TikTok and it was a woman speaking about how she just ended a 5-year court case that she was going through with her ex-husband. And with that 5 years, she also had 20 years of like a terrible reality of being married to him. And now that the court case had ended, she literally does not know what to do with herself or her life. And she thought that once that case was done, she would feel so freed, and she felt like she could take off all of the armor and she was going to be able to, run into this new beginning. And she was like, I took it off and I just feel depleted. I feel empty. I feel like I don't know myself. I feel like life has been nothing but me trying to survive and take what is given to me and make the best of it, instead of me being able to actually make my own choices. And now I'm left with basically being a newborn in this world of trying to navigate and figure out what life really is. And she was saying she doesn't feel sad or depressed or anything negative. She just feels nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And there were so many people in her comments that was relating to the things that she was saying. And I think collectively that resonates with what we've all been feeling in some kind of way or another. And, people were telling her to rest and really try to figure out the things that she enjoys. Maybe it was those things from the past that she has not done in a long time. And I just feel like with this energy, how that relates is, had she not spoken out and made a video, she would have continued to feel like she was the only one feeling that way. And if you stay stuck in that energy, it can really take you down.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think with her getting the comments and the feedback, her next post, because I went and was nosy, she decided to try 3 new things the next day. Well, she was going to rest. She wanted to watch a movie that she hadn't watched in a while. She wanted to eat cheese fondue that she hasn't ate since she was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
And she was going to go out and walk her dog. And again, those are simple things, but as you could see her videos progress, she was starting to find her flow and her balance again.
Well, that's what I was saying. That is so important to, like, when I said pass the ball, it's like saying what you have to say to who you have to say it to, and give them back what they gave you to carry, like your burdens, like the backpack analogy of like taking those rocks and burdens out of your backpack that don't belong to you. That's what speaking up is about, right? That doesn't belong to you, and you shouldn't have to carry that because it's getting too heavy. It's starting to weigh you down. And as you start taking that stuff out, it starts to get lighter, and you are going to end up with an empty backpack. And you're going to have to then start filling those things because you spoke up so much. Yeah, you're going to feel kind of, at the beginning of everything, but you get to fill that backpack with your shit.
Right. Yeah.
And that's what she's doing now.
Yes.
Because she spoke up about what was just eating her away, what was just beginning to be heavy.
And ultimately taking her from her. And she was saying how she realized that a lot of her decisions in the past was based off of other people's expectations and what they wanted for her, and not even being conscious enough to realize she was making choices that were influenced by other things and people. And so her whole example was feeling like she's a newborn again in this world, and she is being put in a position to explore life without the heaviness, without the survivalness of things, and really be able to pick and choose what is for her and what is not. And sometimes we can feel like we don't know our left from our right. But I think with this message is her speaking out has really helped her find her community, her purpose, in a sense, to start building in a new direction or in a new way.
Right.
And so just to end that, she also mentioned how a few months prior to this happening, I guess she works for a school district, and they had her write a book for kindergarten through 12th grade. And it was basically about the freedom of being yourself. And she said she was looking back at that, and she really believes in God and the universe because she felt like her higher self was speaking to her through something she had already created, but just couldn't understand what that was at that time. And so how this kind of goes hand in hand is with the 7 of Cups and the 9 of Swords that's present, there's something that's kind of like eating away at you on a mental level, or keeping you at a place of just not feeling rested or at peace. And maybe it's seeking and searching something, but not finding what you're looking for. And this is, again, needing to go back to the center of yourself. And if this is not being able to even navigate through the ins and outs of who you are, it's speaking what comes to you until you unravel everything. That's why, the message opened up with, even if no one's listening, speak your truth. This could be journaling. This could be having conversations with yourself and just getting it out. It's releasing it from you, because I feel like as we hold on to things, it ends up eating away from the inside. So
yeah, I agree.
The 7 of Cups is connected to the 10 of Cups, which I feel like the 7 of Cups is the illusion of you not knowing what it is that you want or that you're looking for. But I really feel like the illusion is within you being afraid to, again, speak it or make it a reality, because you have been in this place of just taking what has been given to you. And that's pretty much what I learned from her video, was how she was saying that she, for 20 plus years, she's just been in a reality where she's had to literally just roll with the punches, where she hasn't really been able to freely make choices and go in a direction that she really wants, other than her choosing herself and removing herself from these situations. But I feel like collectively we've all been in that energy lately, where we've been rolling with the punches, where we've been taking what has been laid before us, and obviously it's with our protection and our, I don't know, our higher vibration and mind, even if we don't understand it. But this is also making me think of just the past few months of readings, of just knowing that we have gotten into a place within ourselves where we know right from wrong, the ins and outs of life and reality, and we can start to make those choices for ourselves. It's not waiting on God to hand us something. It's us being able to believe in ourselves that we can go and get the things that we seek. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the Seven of Cups is the confusion around, again, trying to figure out how other things and people can come in to help you go after or get this Ten of Cups, when it's really just how you see yourself, how you see what you're capable and able to make it through. So with this Knight of Pentacles, there's delays, there's been stagnation, there's been things happening to reroute you in a way, but ultimately it's for you to kind of release everything that has been clouding your mind. You know, like, it's going back to the conversation of getting fed up to free yourself.
Yeah.
You're running yourself racket through all of these feelings and these emotions, and maybe not even getting them out, releasing them. You're just going around and around and around in your head and keeping you boggled down.
This conversation is making me feel like I'm holding my breath. You know, you just hold your breath for so long, and that release is just like, ugh. That's what this conversation is making me feel like.
This conversation is making me feel like I'm having to do everything.
That you talking about?
Like, oh, when you gonna chime in?
Well, you be so much on a roll, and I'm just taking it all in.
But no, I don't mean that as anything towards you. I'm saying it's relatable to the energy of continuously feeling like I have to seek like something or someone else to come in and add to it or make it more than what it is. You're allowing me to speak my truth. You're allowing me to speak what I feel and what I think.
Yeah, without cutting you off, without you feeling rejected, without you feeling like I'm not listening, or
or the opposite, or making me feel like you do understand what I'm saying, or the validation. Does that make sense?
You be saying exactly what I'm thinking sometimes. So guys, if you feel like I'm just like off to the side, just silent, she's just like saying it, and I'm in my head like, yep.
And I'm in my head wondering, like, am I like getting off of topic, or
no?
Like,
you be right on. That's
me?
why you just be like going, and I'm like, dang, yeah, you be dropping them gems.
Okay, well,
so
that was a real life example of how that.
So don't
shit
feel
goes.
insecure about that, right? It's don't feel insecure about what you're saying in that moment, like not thinking about how I'm receiving it. And I think that's what we do. We think about how we thinking about the other person rather than us in that moment.
Right.
How are they going to receive this? And, you know, what's going to happen after I say this? We do that shit at work. We do that with our partners. Like, you know, I'm going to tell my boss no today. And it's like just saying that you feel so empowered. He actually do something that you know is not part of your job title, and you say no. And in that moment, you don't feel bad about that. You be like, hell yeah, I just did that. Now, afterwards, you know.
And then you're dealing with it.
Then you're dealing with it. But in that moment, right then and there, all that mattered is that you stood up for yourself. That I told you no.
Right. And usually when you stand up for yourself or speak your truth, it really helps you to see things more clearly. And that's why I think the Seven of Cups came out with the Knight of Swords. This is things happening quickly or in a very fast manner for you to see things the way that they need to be seen. Because again, when you speak your truth to someone, you either see if they respect that truth or they just don't care whatsoever.
Right. That's what I'm about to say. You see, if you tell that boss at work no, and then he reacts to that, then you realize, like, this job does not care about me. Like, this job does not care if I'm here or if I'm not. Like, I'm just a pawn to all of this.
Right. That definitely goes in every sector of life because romantic or platonic relationships, I mean, I think we kind of woke up talking about this when I was saying in our last conversations with K and J where we were actually like in front of the camera and we were talking about our relationship dynamic and how we had to pull back and really look at ourselves instead of trying to blame the other person. I think that that was a scary moment because it is needing to speak your truth and not wanting to offend or hurt someone else's feelings. But every time, you know, we've gotten into a place of needing to sit down and really talk about whatever we were feeling, it has evolved us, you know.
Right,
it has
right.
brought us closer.
You didn't
It has,
react the way that I thought
Yeah.
you was going to react. But I thought you was going to react that because of, you know, past relationships,
yeah.
past people.
So maybe that goes hand in hand with this too. Even with the energy that we've been getting in the last few days, it's like the trust issues of having faith in something new and taking a leap on a new season or cycle within your life where you are coming into connections and places and spaces with people that are going to understand you, that are going to see you. And so maybe you were in a place where you couldn't speak up or where no one cared to value what you brought to the table, but this is a different cycle of life for you. And so it's putting yourself back out there.
Right.
And again, allowing rejection or failure to be an indicator or a navigation of what direction you need to go into next.
Right. Like last week you said we got to start putting those guards down that we built up because it's not working for us anymore. Like putting that guard up of like, I'm not going to say anything because of this and that. It's time to release that. You got to say it. Now you got to start doing things different from what you know, been doing because it hasn't been working. And that's just what you got to realize. Like, my silence is not getting me anywhere with the people that I've been around, that I'm going to be around. I know it doesn't work. So now I have to learn how to speak up. I have to learn to talk.
Yeah.
I'm learning that right now, being on this podcast. Like, me not talking and only speak to people that talk to me, it don't work for me no more. I have a lot to say. And it's very hard for me to get on here and just say what comes to mind. I only speak to you in the house. I talk a lot more with you than I do coming on this podcast. Yeah. And I have to, like, not be afraid to do that.
Yeah. Yeah. It requires a trusting of self.
Right.
Because, I mean, for me to do weekly energy readings, I read, 3-4 times out of the week. And every time, by the end of that reading, I'm still a little self-conscious about it. Like, dang, I wonder if that's going to make sense to people or this or that. But then usually my most confusing readings are the ones that hit the most and make the most sense to people. And so it really comes back to me just needing to believe and trust in myself, in the guidance or what is flowing through me. You know? And I think that that's what I see within you. It's not that you don't trust yourself, but I think you want to be so careful about what you say in consideration of people.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely is something that plays a part. You have to be considerate or you're just going to be out here being reckless.
Right. Maybe I think I've always, I always felt like I wasn't a strong public speaker. But I think I realized that I am when I was doing coaching. Like, because you told me you got a whole other side of you when you're coaching.
Yeah.
You know, I'm used to being the player. I'm used to being, I don't have to speak when I'm playing. I'm playing, like, but coaching required me to, like, speak on what I know. I know basketball, so I know what it takes to take a player from being a player to, like, a college athlete. Right. I know how to do that. Yeah. So the moment I got out there and I was coaching, I was speaking, I was in my comfort zone.
Yeah, that blew my mind because I've been an instructor, you know, in dance and gymnastics and doing classes. Even though the kids were smaller than me, I still had a nervousness around it because I thought that they were like judging me or their parents were looking at me. But when I went into coaching basketball with you, that year, like immediately you walked in there with a confidence of like, I don't care who's looking, I don't care who's watching.
Care about these
I'm here to
parents.
do what I'm doing,
Right.
and I know what I'm doing, and I'm standing strong in that. And yeah, it was amazing to see. I think you are phenomenal within that.
Yeah, and I think that's my first time, because you even pointed it out. That was my first time knowing, like, dang, I can make a difference. Like, I know I can change a little kid's life, and like what I have to offer is there.
Yeah. Yeah, and,
So
and
even
now
with
we're
this
on a whole
podcast,
nother level.
right,
We're not
now-
talking to kids. We're talking to grown
Right, now I'm on a
people.
whole nother phase. But I know, like, even talking with you, like, I've given a lot of people in my life good advice and support and love, and that's what I offer. That's what I bring to the table.
It's who you are.
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's really just trusting who you are at the end of the day. You know, you have it in you to succeed and to be everything that you desire. Like I said, with this 10 of Cups, that's your desires. That's the things that you know will bring you that fulfillment. And living an authentic life where you can freely be yourself and speak your truth and live in your truth is a free life, is a fulfilling life. You know, it's not fulfilling when you sit up here and have to bend over backwards or be something that you're not, or wear this mask or pretend to, I don't know. It's so many different levels. Like, I used to date people who would text me in a certain type of way instead of like just being them. Like, yeah, you know, I'm a little irked by people who use K's instead of C's and things like that. But that's not, I was seeking for people to be real with me. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you to change it, you know, but people will change themselves in a way to please other people without realizing that more than likely people just want you to be authentically you. And again, the people who are not okay with your authenticity are more than likely people who are not real with themselves in their reality. So they feel like you should sit here and be something that you're not as well. We just saw this on Selling Sunset. They were asking Bree to be all giddy and inviting and open and fake when she's just like, I'm a standoffish person. Like, I just don't want to get close to people, and that's who I am. You know, you can't change someone who knows themselves. And that's what I'm saying. I mean, I think we're going to be faced with that many times over. I hear it almost every week. Somebody has something to say about a title or something I said or the way that I read or deliver my messages, and to each his own, because I got more people that love it and understand it and resonate with it than the people who want to sit here and want me to be like everyone else.
Right.
You know? So speaking your truth will lead you to the right people and the right things that will continue to support you to evolve even more into who you are. And that's how you keep growing. That's how it keeps going.
I guess a lot of people think, like, how do I speak out and then not, like, go looking for, you know, the response or the rejection or the, like, you know, people's opinion. And even with this podcast, I think for me, I come on here, I say what I say. I don't even watch the videos. Like, I don't like listening to myself, but I'm proud that I said something. So I don't go back and start critiquing myself. I don't go back and like start criticizing myself about like what I said, how I was saying it, you know, and that has helped me more and more not to like
to release it and just
release it and let it go. Right. Yeah. Because I don't want to get in that space of like critiquing myself and it making me feel more insecure about like little dumb shit.
Yeah.
So I guess a lot of people are thinking like, well, how do I do that and not, you know, not think about the consequences or what happens next. And when I say it, you know, it's just blurt it out. Just say it and let it go. Let it be what it is.
So, I mean, to wrap this up, it's like there's new beginnings here that are surrounded by fulfillment for you. But in order to truly have that fulfillment, you have to make choices that are authentic to who you are now. And that will be freeing for who you are becoming. Right? Like I'm not going to continue to put myself in a religious sense or environment or setting if spirituality is what sets me free and lets me have what I'm seeking and what I'm being guided towards in life. You know, I'm not going to keep choosing things and people that suppress that take away that peace or that understanding of who I am, or again, what I'm aligned to have within my life. So however that shows up for you in your reality, this is, again, speaking your truth to free yourself from things that have taken you away from who you really are. I think that's how you lose yourself ultimately. And we talked about that a few episodes ago as well, is I had a private reading and the person was asking, like, how can I trust that I'm not going to lose myself in my next romantic relationship? And my advice was choosing someone who truly fulfills you and not someone that you feel like you always have to impress by being something other than yourself, because who is for you is going to love you through and through for being you, and they're going to encourage you to be even more of that. Like, Janae has never asked me to change anything about me. You know, she's asked me to be a little more considerate of the things that I say, because I was not, in the beginning of this relationship, in tune with other people's emotions. I wasn't even in tune with my own emotions. You know, I was being hard and blunt with myself in a way that I didn't realize. And so I only cared and took a care for it because I knew she cared for me, and she wouldn't tell me anything to, again, like, change me. It wasn't anything to change. It was just being more balanced for myself, because I would say things and then I would wonder why people would end up hurt, or how, you know,
right,
how I would affect people. Really wouldn't understand it. And it's just like, at times I wasn't considering how it would affect other people or what they may be sensitive to and things like that.
Right. Like, I'm never, like, mad at you telling me no about something. Maybe sometimes it's only the way you said it, or, you know, but it's never like, don't tell me no.
Right.
You know?
Yeah,
it's always just
like,
like, well, dang, did you have to say it like that? Right. Like, dang.
And then I'm just like, oh, I was frustrated in that moment and took it out on you and didn't realize that, you know, you don't deserve that. And that was a big, like, learning curve for me coming to Mexico, is I really feel like I got to come out of my body in a sense and realize how I was letting little things that were triggering me and affect me, like, I was putting that off on everyone else. So, like, if we would go out to eat and the waiter was sitting there just staring at me eat my food, I would get attitude because I felt like I didn't like people watching me eat. And then that attitude would carry on to how I acted or responded with Janae or Kaylee.
For the rest of
and then
the
they would be looking like, damn, like, what's wrong with you, you know? And then still, like, I didn't realize how my actions were affecting other people.
Right. And how we fixed it was, like, now we know that when we go out to eat, we kind of put you in that corner where nobody can, like, sit there and watch you eat. Like, your back has to be to everybody else. Like, we just adjust it. We ain't say, like, I didn't tell you, just, like, get over it.
No, but I think it did help me realize of how, like, careless I've been in the sense of not putting my shit on other people. Because, again, like, that was a real frustration for me, but that doesn't mean that y'all have to get the shit end of the stick of how I feel. You know? It was finding a way to balance that within myself and not put that off on anyone else. So
right. But by you speaking up, I
You
got
knew
to
what was
know
wrong.
a lot more about you.
Yeah.
I got to know the things you like and the things you don't like.
yeah.
And I never didn't want to, like, tell you to change that.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like you've ever asked me to change. Like I said, I think anything that you've ever said has been to add growth and value. Like, it has helped me.
Right. And you always just force me to speak. I'm the person that I hold my breath. Like, you know, I
Yeah.
don't say what I'm thinking in that moment. And you tell me like, no, what are you thinking? Like, no, say it.
Yeah. You'll
So.
be in here shaking in the boots like I'm really gonna do something other than listen.
I don't know what because like you said, I think I have this problem where I don't want to be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like my words be hurting people, and I've learned to like put my feelings aside and consider somebody else's feelings. I be overthinking. I be thinking about it.
Yeah.
I think ahead of time.
I mean, I understand that, but I think that was a past version of me, and that's why I'm so like into speaking my truth now, because I've suppressed my truth for so long and realized it still didn't get me nowhere. So I'm like, oh, I'm speaking it all, and then I just got on the other end of that of not being considerate of how other people may feel within me speaking. It's a way to speak your truth without being harsh, without
Right.
being inconsiderate
Right.
of how it's delivered.
Yeah. That makes me think of my mother. She has 5 girls. And I think it's always been hard for her to dealing with all those personalities. Like, everybody's going to react in a different way. It's been very hard for her to just like say what she wanted to say without coming off as like the mother that's always complaining or something, you know?
Yeah.
And I've always told her like, no, just say what you gotta say. Like, we gonna get mad, but that ain't mean it's gonna like really push us away because you told us to clean up. And I approach that way with Kaylee. Like, I just be saying what I want to say to Kaylee because I know like Kaylee's still gonna love me at the end of the day. Like, she gonna love me. She ain't gonna be mad that I said it. Like,
Right. Yeah, I think when you truly see someone, you understand where they're coming from. That's what I'm saying. It's a difference between you telling me like, hey, you may want to be mindful of, how you're saying that or how your tone is coming across versus like my mother telling me. It's just like she's not even being that example. That's what I'm saying. I take advice from you because I see how you handle things with grace.
right.
It's not like you're being a hypocrite.
As long as it's truth, right? Nobody can't really deny the truth. Like, if I'm telling Katie to clean up her room,
Yeah.
It's dirty. Like, I'm only telling you to clean up the room because it's dirty.
Yeah.
Like, so, and if anybody combats with you about that, that means like they not your person. Then they not the person that you need to be talking to.
Yeah. I agree. So, I think we should just end it there because it's the same message, but it being shown in different ways. But I think it really just comes down to setting yourself free by standing in your truth and not being afraid to speak up. Not saying that it won't be scary, not saying that it won't put the pressure on you, but it will ultimately release you from this sort of imprisonment that you've been in, going back and forth. And again, when you stay in that dark place, it ends up causing you more damage. It ends up causing more confusion instead of just setting yourself free. So don't hold back because yes, you may upset somebody and yes, they may, take it in whatever way that they do, but it will make it more crystal clear for you of what you need to do next or what comes next.
Yeah, and I think there's plenty of ways to release all of that. Make that phone call, write it down, shout it on top of a mountain, whatever you have to do, like, and release it.
Yeah. So, thank you guys for vibing out with us. We love you, and we will talk to you in our next one.